Capitalism is a complex economic system that has shaped the world in many ways. From its origins in Europe during the 16th and 17th centuries to its global dominance in the 21st century, capitalism has played a central role in the rise of modern economies, the growth of global trade, and the development of modern societies. At its core, capitalism is based on the idea that individuals and businesses should be free to own and control the means of production and distribution of goods and services. This means that the market, rather than the government, plays a central role in determining what is produced, how it is produced, and who benefits from it. Capitalism is often associated with the values of individualism, competition, and innovation, and it has been credited with bringing economic growth, technological progress, and rising standards of living to many parts of the world. However, capitalism is also a controversial and contested economic system. While it has brought many benefits, it has also been criticized for perpetuating inequality, exploitation, and environmental degradation. Critics argue that capitalism favors the interests of the wealthy and powerful, while neglecting the needs of the poor and vulnerable. They also argue that capitalism is a root cause of many of the world's most pressing social and environmental problems. Despite these criticisms, capitalism remains the dominant economic system in the world today. Its influence can be seen in everything from the structure of global trade to the nature of work and employment. Understanding the pros, cons, and controversies of capitalism is essential for anyone who wants to understand the world we live in and the challenges we face. In this video, we will explore the advantages, disadvantages, and controversies of capitalism, and consider its role in shaping the world as we know it today. Capitalism is an economic system that has been around for centuries and is based on the idea that individuals and businesses should be free to own and control the means of production and distribution of goods and services. In this video, we will discuss the advantages, disadvantages, and controversies surrounding capitalism. Pros of capitalism. The first advantage of capitalism is economic growth and innovation. Capitalism encourages competition among businesses, which leads to the creation of new products and services, as well as the development of new technologies. This, in turn, stimulates economic growth, creating new jobs and opportunities. The second advantage of capitalism is individual freedom and opportunity. In a capitalist system, individuals are free to pursue their own interests and aspirations, allowing them to be creative and entrepreneurial. This creates a level playing field, giving everyone an equal opportunity to succeed. The third advantage of capitalism is the efficient allocation of resources. Capitalism operates on the principle of supply and demand, which means that resources are allocated to those who are willing to pay the most for them. This helps to ensure that resources are used in the most efficient way possible. The fourth advantage of capitalism is consumer sovereignty. In a capitalist system, consumers have the power to choose what they want to buy, creating a market for goods and services that is responsive to their needs and preferences. Cons of capitalism. The first disadvantage of capitalism is income inequality and poverty. In a capitalist system, the distribution of wealth is not always fair, and some people may be left behind. This can lead to poverty and social unrest. For example, in the United States, the top 1% of the population owns more wealth than the bottom 90% combined. The second disadvantage of capitalism is market failure and externalities. Markets do not always operate efficiently, and sometimes they fail to allocate resources in the most socially optimal way. Additionally, some activities can have negative effects on society as a whole, such as pollution, which are not reflected in the market price. This can lead to environmental degradation and health problems. The third disadvantage of capitalism is monopolies and oligopolies. In a capitalist system, businesses are free to pursue their own interests, and sometimes this leads to the concentration of economic power in the hands of a few large corporations. This can lead to decreased competition, higher prices, and reduced innovation. For example, tech giants like Google, Facebook, and Amazon have come under scrutiny for their dominant market positions and anti-competitive practices. The fourth disadvantage of capitalism is exploitation and alienation. In a capitalist system, Workers are often treated as commodities, and their labor is valued only for its ability to generate profits. This can lead to exploitation and alienation, as workers may feel disconnected from their work and undervalued by their employers. For example, low-wage workers in the service sector may have to work multiple jobs just to make ends meet. Controversies of capitalism. One controversy surrounding capitalism is the role of government. Some argue that the government should play a larger role in regulating the economy, while others believe that the government should stay out of the way and let the market operate freely. Those who advocate for government intervention argue that it can help to address income inequality, market failures, and environmental problems. Those who advocate for free markets argue that government intervention can stifle innovation and economic growth. Another controversy surrounding capitalism is the impact on the environment. Capitalism is often associated with the overexploitation of natural resources, pollution, and climate change. Some argue that capitalism is incompatible with sustainability and that a new economic model is needed. Others argue that capitalism can adapt to environmental challenges by incentivizing companies to develop clean technologies and pursue sustainable practices. A third controversy surrounding capitalism is its global impact. While capitalism has brought economic growth and development to many countries, it has also been criticized for perpetuating global inequality and exploiting developing nations. Critics argue that multinational corporations often exploit cheap labor and natural resources in developing countries, while contributing to the destruction of local economies and cultures. Finally, there is a controversy surrounding the role of ethics and morality in capitalism. Some argue that capitalism is a morally neutral system that only values profit and self-interest, while others argue that capitalism can and should be guided by ethical considerations such as social responsibility, fairness, and justice. This debate is particularly relevant in the wake of recent corporate scandals and the growing awareness of the impact of business practices on social and environmental issues. So capitalism is a complex economic system that has both advantages and disadvantages, and is not without controversies. It has brought economic growth, technological progress, and rising standards of living to many parts of the world, but it has also been criticized for perpetuating inequality, market failures, environmental degradation, and exploitation. As we continue to grapple with these issues, it is important to recognize the complexity of capitalism and the need for ongoing debate and discussion on its role in society. We must consider the impact of capitalism on people and the environment, and work to address the challenges and negative consequences of the system while also fostering its positive aspects. Ultimately, the future of capitalism is in our hands. We have the power to shape the system and influence its direction through our actions as consumers, workers, citizens, and leaders. By striving for a more just and equitable form of capitalism, we can build a better world for ourselves and for future generations.